Hi, I'm Shao. In the following video I'm going to discuss some insights I've had over the years about how to select camera gear, specifically camera. You can't really discuss this without mentioning the elephant in the room, which is those things, smartphones. Some smartphones have proved to offer a real alternative to proper cameras, and they've been quite ubiquitous. Almost everyone carries one of them in his pocket, in their pocket, and they're quite good. First, the cameras in our phones matched those tiny little digicams, and that market was almost obliterated. Then they started challenging interchangeable lens cameras, and they still do. I mean, for casual use, they are fulfilling the needs of almost everybody. There are very few genres or areas left where a proper camera with interchangeable lenses still has noticeable advantage over smartphones. The first will be anything to do with telephoto. The lenses fitted to the smartphone cameras are quite basic and do not offer a long focal length. Generally speaking, there are some high-end smartphones that have some telephoto capabilities, but mostly we are talking about extra wide or ultra wide too, normal focal length. Camera phones don't have zooms either, so the framing of the image is not as simple as in a proper zoom lens. Anything to do with wildlife photography or sports, you cannot really use a smartphone as an ideal tool to fulfill those genres. Next is macro. To achieve a good result in close-up photography, you need need a dedicated macro lens or some extra bits that make macro photography possible, like extension tubes or lens diopters, etc. This is also something that is not readily achievable with a smartphone. The third area is low light. Camera phones have quite a fast aperture. f2 or f1.7 are typical, but their sensors are relatively small, except for some very lucrative smartphone models that offer slightly larger sensors, but still they cannot compare with the low light capabilities of dedicated interchangeable lens camera with a fast prime. Dedicated cameras used to have the advantage of selective focus, where you can focus on your subject and blur everything else through the properties of depth of field possible with larger sensors and faster apertures, which smartphones really lack. But there is an advantage in the approach implemented in smartphones, where you have at least 3 cameras taking an image simultaneously, and then you can extract a lot of information from those different images taken from slightly different angles. You can use this parallax to estimate the distance from the camera of each pixel in the resulting images. There will be a shift in the position of closer subjects or elements in the scene, while further away objects will be more or less in the same position. So by the shift in the position, you can estimate the distance of the object from the camera, and then you can apply some algorithmic blurring with an amount depending on the distance from the camera, and create simulated depth of field or selective focus effect. And after a few iterations, the algorithm developers achieved quite impressive results. When I look at an image taken by a smartphone with selective focus applied algorithmically, I can't really tell the difference between it and between a an image taken with a 35mm sensor camera with a fast lens. The blurring looks almost the same. So this is an advantage of proper cameras that is now to all practical users lost. One more aspect where larger sensor cameras used to have an advantage was dynamic range. But smartphones are quite clever because they can simultaneously take two images with different exposures and combine them together to create a high dynamic range image that may look quite natural without those crazy mapping. You know what HDR images used to look like. Actually, nowadays images taken by smartphones have more dynamic range than even large sensor cameras. So that is another advantage of proper cameras that is lost. Now, of course, there is something else. The optics, the lenses fitted to those smartphone cameras are basic lenses that are made of a few plastic elements that are molded into shape, and they lack the clarity and the specific characteristics of proper glass elements. So images taken by smartphones tend to be, I would say, very flat. They lack a good sense of depth, which some camera lenses do excel in, but not all camera lenses. Anyway, a few years ago, a friend of mine decided to buy a proper camera with interchangeable lenses for his daughter who was going to turn 16 or 17, I can't remember. And he asked for my advice for a camera to get for her. Now I realized that I was stuck in a rabbit hole that my proper advice would be a bit unusual and I didn't really want to drag him into all those fine considerations. So I just told him, well, look for an entry-level model. I gave him a list of some suggested cameras that were popular at the time, combined with a kit lens. You know, the girl definitely had the eye for composition. She had a good potential to be a good photographer. But she didn't have a specific genre she was interested in. Versatility was the main consideration for my advice. So a kit lens with a zoom range of wide angle to short telephoto that will allow some landscape, some to portrait would fit just fine. She didn't have a tendency to shoot in low light, so a slow lens would fit fine. So I gave him this lazy advice, and he chose one of the suggested models, and the girl was happy with what she got. No complaints whatsoever. She made and still makes really nice photos with this kit. However, if you compare most of those images to what you can get from a smartphone, you see no difference. That kit zoom is not really a good lens. The proper advice would be quite different. It would involve first choosing the lenses you want. Lenses are the true image making devices, not the camera. The camera is only recording the image created by the optics. And there are no significant differences between cameras. All sensors achieve about the same results. All sensors made since I don't know, 2010, 2012. Of course, they differ in resolution, they differ in the speed of readout. Different cameras have different processing power that enables more speed. But practically, if you do not need exceptional speed or anything like it for casual photography, there has not been a big improvement in cameras over the last 10 or 12 years. But the lens, the optics, does make a difference. So my advice would be first find a lens that you want, that makes a difference. What do I mean by a lens that makes a difference? It's a lens that consistently produces images that convey some depth, some, I don't like the word character, but yes, lenses that have some character, that produce images where you make you feel like you're there, like you're standing in the scene. This is something that you cannot easily achieve with a smartphone. So choose one or two or maximum three lenses that you really like, that convey what you are after. I would suggest going into a website like Flickr and looking at images created by a certain lens, and look for consistency of rendering. Now, there are not many lenses that make a difference. Let's admit it. And most of the lenses that deserve a place in this Hall of Fame are quite expensive, let's face it. But there are some lenses that are not very lucrative. For example, this one here that I really like, it's the Nikon 40mm f2. It's a very basic lens, very simple, really non-expensive, but it does make a nice photo, and it's quite consistent. So there are a few gems here and there. After you chose the lenses you like, of course they have to fit your genre. If you're a landscape photographer, you would look for typically for a wide-angle lens, or even ultra-wide lens. If your preferred genre is portrait, you would typically choose short telephoto prime for your work. If you are interested in reproduction work or macro, you would choose another type of lens. But Anyway, after you have chosen your lens, look for a camera that would make the most of it. By that I mean a camera that can communicate with the lens, you know, offer some control of the aperture, of the autofocus, preferably natively. This is not always possible, but it will save some headache if you can find a camera that can make the most out of the lens in a seamless manner. After you marked a few candidate cameras, choose one of them that matches your budget and your requirements. If you do a lot of video of moving subjects, you might look for a camera with a fast readout of the sensor. But if you don't need it, then choose a more basic model that can still give you what you need, but it will save you quite a lot of money. Similarly, if you shoot a lot in bad weather conditions, you really should look for a weather-sealed camera. So it will cost a little bit more than your typical basic model. In most cases, there are really some good options that will allow you to achieve the results you want with the lens you want in a seamless, easy way. However, back to that girl who was really not sure about what she wanted to do, or what kind of photography she was interested in. Versatility was the main requirement in that case. And unfortunately, there are not many versatile lenses that do make a difference. At least I haven't come across many of them during the many years I've been doing photography. There are two exceptions, and they are quite similar in their own way. One of them is Four Thirds lens, not Micro Four Thirds, but Four Thirds. It's the reflex system that predated Micro Four Thirds. which is 14 to 54 millimeters. That was a very nice lens with very good, consistent rendering, but it's been discontinued now for I don't know, many years, maybe a decade, and you can still buy them used for quite a low price. Problem is that the operation of this lens on a modern camera is not exactly seamless. So I would suggest putting it on an 4/3 to micro 4/3 adapter and attaching it to one of the Olympus, or now I believe they are called OM system cameras. That lens is quite large, quite cumbersome, and it would only feel right ergonomically on one of the larger cameras, like the OM system OM1, and that is quite an expensive camera, because it's the flagship of that brand. So I would suggest buying a used Olympus OMD EM1 Mark II or Mark III. Which can be had for a reasonable price. But you know, buying used for a birthday present is not something that is very relevant, at least not in our culture here. So you see what I mean by being in a rabbit hole. This advice would sound a bit crazy. A second lens that matches those criteria of a versatile lens that makes a difference is this one. Never mind. This is the Nikon 28 to 105 millimeters. It was a kit lens made for the late F-mount film cameras, like the F80 or F90, F100 in the 90s. So it's quite an old lens, but it's a surprisingly good one. It's versatile as well, because it has a 1 to 2 macro option for the longer focal length that you can dial in, and it's consistently good. It has a good conveying of depth, and the images are exceptionally nice for a zoom. So which camera can operate this lens in a seamless manner? I'm afraid all Nikon mirrorless cameras cannot autofocus it, because it's a D-type lens. It has a little screw here that is in charge of autofocusing. The lens itself does not have an autofocus motor. The motor is located in the camera, and it moves the focusing group in the lens by way of this little screw. So to operate this lens properly, you need to go back to one of the higher end Nikon DSLRs, like D300, D500, maybe the lower series of the D7000 had such a focusing motor in the body. I'm not quite sure. And to make the lens utilize its original field of view, which is it's a 28 to 105 millimeters. So to fully utilize the wide angles, you really have to mount it on a full frame camera. So the options are, I would say, the 700 and up. It's a lens that has a problem of severe chromatic aberration that, of course, was not a problem with film, but is quite noticeable with high resolution camera. So I would avoid 36 megapixel cameras and up. So a good option to operate this camera would be something like the D750, which is a 24 megapixel camera and is quite small and can fit into the hands of a young lady like the one we are talking about, and not be too large or too heavy. Yes, I think the D750 or maybe even the D780, which is the replacement of the D750 and is still in current production, would be even better. Problem is the D780 is an expensive piece of kit. Maybe too expensive for most casual users. And the D750 is I think 10 years old now, and has been discontinued for a few years. It's also not a very durable thing. It's a plastic camera with some weather sealing, but most units you find on second hand show some signs of use, and you know, it's not a very attractive present for a younger girl like her. So you see the problem. But anyway, it would be interesting to know what you would suggest. What advice would you give my friend with that problem? So that was all for today. Thank you for watching.
Oh,